Welcome to this Windows channel, and this is the Tech News Update. We are Wednesday, December 6th, 2017. And today, in our Tech News Update, we have the South Korea Winter Games in 2018, this winter. Basically, there will be 85 robots that will help to the games, to the events, and also the tourists. So this is kind of pretty cool. And they might actually be the first really high-tech Olympics of the modern era, of course. So I think it's going to be nice and interesting to see. And I think the tourists are going to be probably very intrigued. And let's hope that the robots don't look as creepy as this one. iOS 11 is now on 59% of Apple devices. It's still a slower uptake than the previous version of iOS 10, but it's, of course, a good start. And, you know, compared to any other, especially Android, it's, I think, a good speed of uptake. Well, the first Windows 10 on ARM devices are here. HP and Asus have both released the first entry. The rest, by other companies, will come in the spring. They are what they called always connected PCs with LTE, gigabit LTE, and 20 hours of battery life. So that's kind of interesting, and it's going to be kind of cool to have a lot of the reports of how these devices work from different sources. And of course, many models will show up in the spring of 2018 also. So this is going to be another interesting thing to look at. Well, Microsoft got a nice little boost in the cloud enterprise solution. Forrester, a company that often looks at different enterprise-grade solutions, has given the highest score to Microsoft Cloud Services for the sync of files and share. They say it's the best solution, the one that works not only the best, but also is almost no downtime and really does what it's supposed to do. So this helps Microsoft. Microsoft trying to be a big player in the cloud services. It's already a big player, but it's still very far behind from, for example, Amazon Web Services. But this might actually give Microsoft a big boost. Well, smartphone usage is exploding, and this is according to eMarketers, that forecasts that this year, 2017, 2.39 billion people around the world will be using smartphones. This is pretty amazing when you consider that 10 years ago, nobody was really using smartphones. The biggest rise comes from China, India, and Vietnam. These countries have a typical growth of like 20%. And every country where the infrastructure for regular fixed phone is low is really creating a big wave of uptake of phones. To give an idea, in China, where fixed phones, landlines, are more of a problem if you're outside of big cities, well, 50% of the population using a phone uses a smartphone. Pretty amazing. And this is, of course, going to create huge markets in the coming years for smartphone usage. So there were rumors of, the Google Play Store maybe coming to the Microsoft Store, or Google Apps coming to the Microsoft Store, and no. After all, it apparently are false rumors, and that there's absolutely no plan of having any Google apps in Windows 10. So YouTube and Amazon, or Google and Amazon, are fighting against each other, and it's been going on for a while. So now Google is mad, so saying that YouTube apps will be pulled from the Fire TV and Echo Show. On January 1st, 2018, the apps will stop working. But in reality, a lot of users are mad not at the fact that both companies are finding out. They're mad at the fact that these companies are fighting it out in a way that actually hurts users much more than anything else. And there was actually an interesting article in, I think it's Ars Technica, entitled Google and Amazon, Please Grow Up. And I think it really means what it means. Chrome apps, about a year ago, we had a news item about Chrome apps. Chrome apps are the little apps that there was like a Chrome store. When you use Google Chrome, you could actually go and get Chrome apps. And they were saying that they were phasing out the Chrome apps, and already a lot of apps were actually removed. Well, it's pretty much dead now. Apparently this week, what was left of Chrome apps has disappeared. And so basically Google says that progressive web apps will be the future instead. Well, a interesting story about the Thanksgiving holiday, which is kind of cool. Well, not cool, but kind of interesting. There was according to a well-known company that checks for all sorts of security stuff on the web and for the spread of malware. Thanksgiving weekend had a overall global malware spike of 123%. So the spread was really, really amazing. And the three worst cities that were pinpointed: Charlotte, North Carolina, Detroit, Michigan, and New York, both had more than 200% hike in the spread of malware during the Thanksgiving weekend. A researcher, although sometimes we have researchers and people that show up here and there that we're not really sure exactly who they are and where they come from, says that 2018 should be the year of open source. He says that now it's time to move away from the big guns of Mac or Windows or whatever, and that we should have a 2018 year of the open source software, use open source browsers, open source Office software, and why not, while you're at it, Linux. So of course his idea behind this is, why not help that type of community that basically is on a let's share the goodness together, instead of big gun companies that make a lot of money with whatever software we use. And a scam that is interesting because it has its roots right here in the province of Quebec. For the past 6 months to a year, there were a lot of problems with two residents that are here in the province of Quebec that were scamming U.S. citizens with something called Plex Coin. They were saying that that was the new Bitcoin and that it would actually explode in value, and that basically users would get a lot of money thanks to this. Well, of course, on both sides of the US and Canada side, that company was really, being examined closely. And even here, a lot of court orders were actually issued so that they stopped doing this because they knew it was a scam. Well, in the US, the Securities and Exchange Commission, of course, has also complained against these fraudsters. These two people actually racked in $15 million by selling the Plex Coin. So it just shows you got to be careful. There's too many scams out there. So this was the Tech News Update for Wednesday, December the 6th, 2017. You enjoy our videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up, and thank you so much for following us on this channel.